Okay, hopefully this time it works. Okay, we're good on Facey, we're good on Instagram. We're good, we're really good. So I'll just wait until a few people come and say g'day. If anybody can hear me, feel free just to give a thumbs up or a heart button. If you press the heart button, be good. I like interacting with people if you haven't already figured that out. Look, I just want to firstly say heaps and heaps of gratitude and thank you to everybody who's wished me a happy birthday today. It's been a really, really beautiful morning. You know, it's so different to what my 40th was, where it was all about this big build-up, this big party, big fanfare, and you know, the past 6 weeks it feels like I've been on a birthday party of my life, and today was beautiful. It's the first day that I've done nothing in 6 weeks' time. Literally, I've done nothing. I've woken up, the kids and the missus and Shell, and we just spent a little bit of time together this morning and just hang out, and it was really beautiful. And no birthday presents, no cards, no fanfare, nothing. And I said to them then and there, this is absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I wanted, because how could I possibly, I think the last 6 weeks it's felt like my birthday. So big amount of gratitude and a big amount of appreciation for all your comments and share and posts on Facebook, on LinkedIn, all the messages. Unreal, you all rock. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you. And like, same goes back to you. So it's been a wild 6 weeks. Unbelievable, incredible. I'm not going to talk about USA. I'm not going to talk about a new wave. I think I've talked about that heaps. What I will talk about is the amazing time I've spent over in Tasmania, completing the South Coast track as part of the Life Changer Foundation Challenge. One set you can see up here, photo of all us trackers, very, very briefly, of all of us before we set to go. And this, I got this given to me at the start of the track, and if you look closely, go very close, Life Changer, and let's just have a look. It says BV on the BV, Awaken the Hero, Life Changer Challenge 1, South Coast track. Now, when we set off on the South Coast track, I put a backpack on that weighed about 25 kilograms. I think it was about 20 kilograms, actually. Food, tents, everything we needed to survive out in the South Coast, which nothing around, very remote. And I actually thought this was the urn to put my ashes in, you see. I thought this was given to me so that when I cark it on about day 2 or day 3, that they burn me up, and one of the fires we had, and they put me in these ashes, and then they could scatter it somewhere inspirational and beautiful that I love to be. But no, this is the flask, my friends, that we ate out of each morning and each day and each night. And this was the cooker, you see, so there's no ashes in there. This is the cooker where we put in the oats and we put in the tomato soup, and we literally ate out of one of these things. And I've got to say that that experience alone was very, very humbling, and it's been great to get home and eat some real food again. Because I've got to say, when you're eating porridge out of this, and you can taste rather than previous night's honey soy chicken or spag bolognese or Mongolian lamb or beef red curry coming through it, I don't know, it's just not the same porridge when those flavours are coming through. So that wasn't my urn for the ashes, it was our hip flask for the Life Changer Challenge. Let me tell you about the challenge itself. We flew into a place called Melaleuca. We had 5 days of trekking, and I've got to say it was one of the hardest things I've personally ever done in my entire life. Navigating the following: limited food supplies, leeches, and I'm talking leeches that were like, I felt like on one particular day, leeches were actually falling from the trees onto all of us, and some of my fellow Life Changer trackers were getting eaten alive or getting the blood sucked out of them whilst they were tracking, whilst they were sleeping. Now, I was fortunate enough to be in a tent with young Will and Joe. Will does some amazing stuff for Life Changer Foundation and manages events operations. And one morning he woke up, it was day 4, and he's woken up and he's looked at his finger and he's had blood all over his finger, you see. And on all the blood was the leech that had been sucking him all throughout the night. Now, he must have really tasty blood, or he must be a really tasty guy, because he's a great guy, an awesome guy. So we looked down next to the mat he was sleeping on, and there it was, the big leech, and it was solid, it was fat, it was just like, and it was quite a humorous time. So we had leeches, we had rain, we had heavy packs, we had big mountains to go over, we had river crossings, we had a drone called Derek. That's right, we named the drone Derek, and Derek had the habit of falling out of the sky on the first day. However, Derek did capture some amazing footage. Added to that, Paddy, who was tracking one day, offered Will, because Will was carrying Derek on the front of him, you see. On the front was pack on the back, Derek on the front, the GoPro case, and we had a river crossing, so Paddy's offered to take Derek, and anyway, so Paddy's going across, and Paddy is a lovely bloke. One thing about Paddy, he talks, and it absolutely brings... When he's talking, you know everything's okay. So he's talking, and he's got this river crossing. Anyway, I was at the back of the group, and I've heard this massive splash, and Paddy's gone in the water, and so did Derek. So Derek had fallen out of the sky the previous day. He'd tried to be drowned by Paddy, and so it was a great challenge in getting Derek up in the air again. But Derek did fly again, and we did get some more footage. And I know for Scott, it was very, very relieved to see Derek make it back up into the sky. So we had 5 days on the track. Each day was preceded or pre-framed every single day with Trev Hendy. What an amazing person, amazing man. I mean, as a little kid, I used to watch Channel 9 Sunday Wide Water Sports and watch Ironman and see him smash his opposition and win. And to actually meet him and spend some time with him was a true privilege. And I'm very, very honoured to be able to share, to have had some amazing conversations with him, and also share some other great experiences, which I'll talk about shortly in the last couple of days as well. But a really, really great guy, courageous guy, humble guy, and I forgot where I was going with it. Anyway, so we're tracking along. So yeah, Trev would each day precede the day with what the theme of the day was about. And that was all about the pillars of what identity is all about for the Life Changer Foundation when it launches in April. And we always had to think about, when we're walking and when we're hiking, each day had a theme around it. We had to think about what actually we had to, you know, some of the things, so some things like awareness or life skills or who we really are or our community or a tribe, and to walk along and to go into some dark places. And I tell you folks, to carry that pack, I had a pack on the first day, and within 5 minutes my hips started hurting and actually thought I wasn't going to make it 5 minutes in. So there's definitely some dark times, and in those dark times, and just like life, you see, in those dark times we learn a lot about ourselves. And I know personally for me there was some certain moments, especially on day 2, which I found it particularly hard, where I went into my own head as I was tracking along. There was a lot of pain going on physically and mentally, and I knew there was some certain elements in our life, in my personal life, that I needed to work on and improve. And you know, to say it's a South Coast track or it's a challenge, it is a challenge, and it is a physical challenge, but more so it's more of a mental challenge as well. And I can recommend to anybody out there, anybody who's in any field, whatever it might be, that there's nothing better than getting out there and adventuring and pushing yourself to the limits and really finding out what you're made of. So each day, Trev would precede the day or pre-frame the day with a theme, and then at the end of the day we'd come together as a group, share our experiences, and also each of us show vulnerability and talk openly about where we're at in life. And for somebody as courageous as Trev, who's won so many things, it would be easy for him to rest on his laurels of being Australian Hall of Famer. But his courage and his ability to communicate to a group of people and show vulnerability and see other people open up and be vulnerable as well was truly inspiring. And I'm very, very stoked to have been able to spend that time together, not only with Trev, but everybody else on the trip. Now, if you're watching, feel free to give a thumbs up or a like or a share or whatever it is on Facey, on Instagram. So the days kept continuing on, and every single day what I learned something about myself, but what I learned is about the human spirit and what's truly capable. Now, 88 kilometres in 4 days with 20 kilogram packs probably doesn't sound that far, but the magnitude of it, that one day we actually hiked for 12 hours straight and we only covered 13 kilometres. And let's put some perspective around it. I was with Trev, Ironman, Carla Gilbert, Ironwoman, Scotty Waters, ex-AFL player and coach, Janet Franzman, Robbie Kearns, NRL legend, and we were all trying our hearts out, and it was bloody hard work. And you know, climbing mountains is one thing, and you kind of brute your way up the mountain. But when you're coming down and like dropping down like steps like this, that aren't really steps, it's just like natural formations, and then there's slippery roots, there's mud, there's leeches, there's packs. There's just like, it was at times horrendous. But we made it through. It was incredible. We got to the finish line. The group as a whole, we come together. And look, in a lot of teams, in a lot of corporate workspaces and businesses that I've grown, you always see teams come together. We all come together initially as a group. That's the forming stage and the developing stage. And then as time goes on, we'll have some laughs and there'll be some highlights. And then there'll be some times, we're a bit out of focus. There'll be some times where a little bit of maybe some challenges come up. And at that point, sometimes some little cliques start to appear, and you might have a minority group over here and there's a big group over here, and some factions start developing and beginning. And I've got to say, with all 21 of us, that didn't happen ever. And I think that's testament to the quality of individual that were on the trip. And I was truly humbled to be part of that. And I was stoked to play my role in being the jester, which I'll talk about shortly. So we crossed the finish line, massive hugs, and then we're so fortunate to achieve something so special and magical together to kick off the fundraising efforts for the Life Changer Foundation. So if you don't already know, the Life Changer Foundation is going to be launched in April, and its key objective and sole objective is to maximise the potential of Australian youth to combat some of the problems we've got in the world today around, in Australia today, around alcohol, drugs, bullying, social media, body image, inappropriate content, gambling, and every single number of challenges that are present in Australia today. And all those things I've touched on, if you go and research the numbers, and if you go to lifechangerfoundation.org, lifechanger.org.au, you can see the numbers, and the statistics are frightening. If anybody's raising children or teenagers, you'll know for yourself how actually challenging it is, and what we've got to navigate through. So maximise potential in Australian youth is the reason why we're down there, to raise funds for launch in April. And when we finished, we were fortunate enough to go to the Rest Point Casino, which was very fascinating for me, because when I was a young boy, I went to Tasmania and I hadn't been back there since then. I remember the Rest Point Casino very well. I hadn't seen it, and it's still there, and it looked like an antique, but very fortunately, we'll able to go to the top floor and enjoy dinner in the revolving restaurant. Now, revolving restaurants, I don't know, that spun me out big time. I don't know if I hadn't had enough food or what, but I couldn't quite figure out what was spinning, whether or not it was the outside spinning, whether or not it was where we were sitting that was spinning, or whether or not it was the inner circle that was spinning. Something was spinning, but I don't know what. Very interesting. We were fortunate to have the company of Drew Gin, three-time Olympian, part of the Awesome Foursome, five-time world champion, and he delivered an amazing set of words very concisely in 5 minutes. He spoke about the Olympics, and he spoke about how winning a gold medal was something that he was very proud of. But at the end of the day, when he was looking at that gold medal, looking down at it, he realised within himself that it was so much more than just a gold medal. And that's the challenge we've got today in our world, that so many of us measure success via achievements, via wealth, via winning or losing, via results, and all the stuff that's the end of the game. And how Drew eloquently put it, he actually referred to the Olympic Games as a big show and a big crock. Not disrespecting the Olympics itself, because he thinks it's actually fantastic for people, and I totally agree that we strive to achieve our goals. We set objectives for ourselves, and we really try to get the best out of ourselves to get there. However, that's not the be-all and end-all, and a number of the ambassadors on the Life Changer Foundation had similar stories. So, putting this all into perspective, listening to Drew Gin talk about it, listening to Trev talk about it, and looking at my personal experience, I was able to, and very fortunate, walk into a classroom in Tasmania. So we finished the track, had the dinner, went to bed, woke up the next day, and go into an actual Tasmanian classroom and deliver the very first pilot. Very privileged to do that with Trev, with Scott, with Joe, and was there anybody else? And Michelle. and were able to deliver the very first pilot. And as I was sitting there and thinking about things, I came to a realization that my story and where I've come from, the transition I've made in the past, you could say 12 months, because my journey started in terms of this transition 12 months ago, that I had my whole life been conditioned to collect things, gather things. And I don't know, look, the conditioning came from society, no question. And at the time, in my conscious awareness, all I wanted to do was go snowboarding, climb mountains and go snowboarding. And that's all I had on my mind. But I didn't realize under the surface that the reason that this was all happening is because my whole life I've been trying to fill a hole inside my heart. I've been trying to fill a hole that was in there, and I felt empty on the inside. And here I was my whole life, or the later part of my adult life, or in the past 10 years, trying to fill it up with things that weren't actually helping me. Let's go back. So today's my birthday, 41 years ago to the day, or about 7 weeks, I was adopted. I was raised by an Australian family. I had a mother that loved me very, very much, but I remember in primary school, I used to get teased a lot, I used to get picked on a lot, and I used to get physically abused a lot. There was one day the boys, some older boys in school, actually got me and got my head and started hitting against a brick wall. And I share this not for sympathy, not at all. It's about me sharing a progression of events that led me to making decisions and doing things that ultimately weren't filling me up. So primary school bullying, moving to high school. In my high school years, the bullying continued. And then my father and mother divorced, and as I was going through my teenage life, when I hit the age of 15, I felt very much alone, and I felt very lost, and I wasn't sure what to do. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I made some decisions, and addiction started in certain areas. And then as I became an adult, I realised I had these skill sets, you see, and these skill sets enabled me to grow businesses. First started off in sales, and I was able to communicate with people and connect with people quite easily, and then it led me to owning my first business, and then through my first business grew that, and then sold that, and then as I sold that business I thought, beauty, look at me go, I feel good, this is what it's all about, I'm unreal, I feel good inside, I feel that sense of self-worth. And then after I sold that business, after that weared off, I was back down again. And it then happened again with Engage Technology Group. We had this little company, we threw in $2,000 each, and over the course of 5 years, grew it to be a $27 million gross revenue company, me and Joe Bloomfield. And as we're building that business, the income started going up. The business started growing, we're getting the pats on the back, we're getting the awards, we're getting the BRW, we're in the CR, winning the CRN, and that whole time I felt good about myself. But what ended up happening during years 3 and 4, it got particularly challenging. I was making poor decisions that ultimately were bringing me undone and leading to me suffer from depression. And we couldn't keep up, or I personally couldn't keep up with hitting those big heights of the results at the end of every month and feeling good about myself, and then the slump after it. It was like a sugar high. So you have sugar, you go high, and then come crashing down. I'm sure many of you have had sugar before. You know that feeling where you start eating it and you feel really good, and then 5 minutes later you feel like crap. And that's what happened with the second business, Engage, and those results couldn't sustain it. And whenever we had a bad month, or the results weren't there, what they were previous months, I felt very, very lonely again. And so it was a realization that I've been filling this hole inside me with stuff in the external world, and at that time, unconsciously, or consciously, I wasn't aware that's what I was doing. So I decided to move away from Engage Technology Group and made the decision to want to leave the company. Fortunately, not long after we sold it, I made a decision I wanted to follow my passions and start the journey of what the future phase was then. And all that was back then was simply climbing a mountain, snowboarding down from the top and documenting the journey. And that's all the vision was. It was nothing more than that. So look where it's at now is unbelievable. So we finished the track, had a great night, lots of tears, lots of hugs, lots of gratitude, and then fortunately went into the classroom in Tasmania and rolled out the very first pilot. Now I've got to say that was truly a humbling experience walking into a high school again. and we're working with a group of Year 9 students. And to kick off, Scotty spoke about heroes, and everybody's got an inner hero inside of them, and we all do have an inner hero inside of them. And I think so many times we're looking outside and looking how we measure up to other people and comparing ourselves against other people. And what the foundation is all about is identifying and highlighting and creating awareness in children and having them discover that they have their own inner hero inside them. And some amazing conversations were had, just mind-blowing. And in my group, after Scotty and Trev started talking, I took a group of 6 kids. There was one girl in that group, and she, beautiful young lady, and green hair, nice glasses, really out there, a bit of like a jester like myself. And she said, your story really resonated with me, that you're adopted, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm in a foster home, and my parents put me down every single day. My mum and dad don't love me, they criticise me all the time. And to hear that in the very first pilot of the foundation was, I've got to say, really, really emotional moment as I left. I then had another boy open up in the session as well, and he said to me that sometimes he feels emotions and he gets angry, and what he does, he suppresses them down. He said these words to me, he vocalised this to me, and I sometimes suppress them down, and I feel like one day I'm going to do something that I shouldn't do, and it's actually going to hurt somebody. And to hear children of Year 9 open up and talk this way, as much as it really emotionally stirred me inside, it made me realise that the path I'm on, my purpose in life, is to help others, and the foundation path is what the world needs today and what Australia needs today. And we left the classroom, and I was pretty emotional, you could say. It really, really hit me, and I knew that everything that I've done to this date, my whole story, there was a meaning and reason and purpose behind that, and to start living out my true purpose in life was unbelievable. And it doesn't result in millions of dollars, doesn't result in all the bullshit or cars or properties and all that crap, all that stuff that doesn't matter. It was about really making a difference in helping other people. And my personality type, I think, resonates with kids, and I love kids, always have, always been able to connect with them. So yeah, really, really moving. So that was in Tassie, came home, and then last night we ran a series of more pilot workshops with Surf Life Saving Club down the Mornington Peninsula, and we had a group of 11-year-olds, under 11s, under 13s, under 15s, same format. And just as I was preparing for it in my own mind, thinking about my journey and my story, as I was actually growing up, I kind of thought my life was pretty normal. I didn't realise that, I had a pretty challenging upbringing and pretty challenging life, and overcome a number of different hurdles and obstacles. And, with my story, my personal story, I actually don't think my story is better or worse or anything else than anybody else's, because I actually genuinely believe deep down inside that whilst we're all different, we've got our unique talents and strengths and gifts and abilities and personalities and all those things, that at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all like 2 ears, 2 eyes, nose. We're all human beings, and everybody's got a story, and everybody's story means something and connect with somebody and help somebody. And I think in today's day and age, especially in the corporate workspace, which I've seen a lot of, that people are wearing masks and we're covering up and we're hiding and suppressing and pushing down. And it's actually leading all of us to make decisions and medicating, whether or not it's drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it might be. We're medicating to feel good about ourselves, when if we start dealing with and opening up and sharing, then we'd all feel a lot happier. And if we're connecting with our purpose in life and what that might be and what that might look like, then things would be very, very different. So if you think about it from, our generation, my generation being a 41-year-old, and without me having conscious awareness around all these things now, imagine if I kept living life without having that awareness around it and not being able to create that change or interrupt the pattern from generation to generation. It's quite fascinating to see how the world will turn out as we continue to go on. And the statistics are all there to say that all the problems are on the rise. So, bit of a deep conversation, I must say, but I think it's very, very important, very, very relevant. And yesterday sharing the vulnerabilities, and it was amazing. The group of facilitators I was in the room with Scotty, Trev, another Scotty, Jojo. It was just, I don't know, life-changing. And watching those kids open up and share and talk about problems, and talk about their friendships and trust and what makes a good friend and their community and what a good community looks like, or what a good friend looks like, and their sleeping patterns and behaviours. Like, imagine if we had those conversations when we were kids, and the difference that might have made. And I know personally myself, that wasn't taught in schools. None of that was taught in schools. It was maths, English, PE, geography, all that stuff. And these amazing life skills are very much required. And I think the school system has come a long way, and sporting clubs and communities have come a long way, because the clubs we were working with yesterday, they actually did have, so they had some great results from the surveys that the kids completed, and that sense of community and tribe and exercise and eating well and all those things. And these kids were phenomenal, I've got to say. And we have come a long way, yet there's so much work for us to do. And I actually don't think it's unique to myself or the foundation. I think it's up to all of us in terms of humanity to start opening up and sharing and spreading a positive message in a world that I think has lost its way in many ways, and very, very important that we keep moving on. So, super inspiring, super refreshing to do that, and then get to today. And bit of a flatter day, but I had a beautiful lunch with one of my mentors for many years, Ron Hall. He's a great friend. He mentors the apprentice jockeys at Racing Victoria. And we had a great light lunch at Mahjong in Fitzroy Street, and looking forward to having an awesome afternoon just catching up with the community that I live in. And Mav's got basketball at 5 today. We'll go down and watch some b-ball, might even throw up a few layups myself, and just catch up with everybody. I haven't seen everybody for 6 weeks now, and it'd just be nice just to share and see what everyone's been up to, and then have a nice relaxing dinner with the family. What's on from here? Well, lots going on. There's a surf-related product, a surf industry-related product, just in the process of acquiring that. Just a little small business I'm super excited with. Going through a number of changes and developments with the Future Phase website at the moment, and the direction we're heading in. I think up until this stage, I haven't actually been able to consciously unpack and discover what the meaning of the Future Phase was. I knew it was about helping other people, helping youth, helping entrepreneurs and companies grow, but I didn't know the key reason why I wasn't able to communicate that. It was like I was working on a surface level, saying things like, yeah, I'll mentor you around your business, I'll mentor you around your life, and we'll have fitness and wellbeing training and adventures and that type of stuff. But connecting to that, the reason why, and my personal story and everybody else's story who I've seen out there who needs a little bit of help, needs a little bit of guidance, needs a team of ambassadors and mentors around them to support them, so that they can not only feel good in life, they can not only feel achieve what they want in life, but they can also, really know that they're tapping into who they are at the core. And so just working through that at the moment. And so if there's anybody out there today who's listening, head on over to www.thefuturephase.com.au. You'll see you can get the 5-minute film, Boardroom to Backcountry, which was what I made 7 months ago when I started on the journey. And there's not much on offer at the moment there. However, you go and opt in, there's a whole lot of cool stuff coming your way in the next couple of months. But you'll find out first if you go and jump in and enter your name and email address. So I'd love to connect with you there. And I'm looking forward just to catching up and recharging over the next few days and going surfing early next week. And it's amazing, 12 months, I have a business again, but a very different business. A business that's not driven by profits, just driven by passion. And the people who I'm surrounding myself with are like-minded individuals, are there to make a difference. And, and I love everybody that I've had the absolute privilege of spending time with. One of the guys who still works at Engage Technology Group, and I have had the great privilege. I feel very honoured to have the privilege of working with so many people over the journey, because I've learnt so much from them. And it's got to the point now where I need to personally be in a place where I'm moving in the one direction with one common goal that we're all working towards, that's around purpose and not profits. And for me, that's really refreshing and exciting. So that is all. I don't have much more. I'm very tired. Actually, I'm not tired. I just feel relaxed. So if anyone's got any questions or want to share anything, or just want to say hi or let me know they're there, just hit the hi, the like, or the love heart button. If I could do it, I'd do it back to you. Love ya. Carlos, love ya. So I just wanted to provide you that update. It's been a pretty incredible 6-week period. Super stoked. Amazing. The US, a new wave surfing and wellness event which went unbelievably. And then the Life Changer Challenge and the pilot to some of those workshops, and who knows what's around the corner, but I know it's going to be pretty special. I've got my compatriot Life Changer Challenge Foundation hikers there, and some very, very special memories were created, and some very, very special connections were also made, and so that's about it. So I'll just hang around for a little bit. If anybody at any time, if I don't feel comfortable about asking any questions or sharing anything, I don't proclaim to have all the answers. I actually believe that you guys or everybody else, we've all got the answers within us to solve some of the challenges we've got. It's all about having somebody you can bounce things around, because perhaps they can ask a question in a different way that leads you to coming up with a different answer. And it's the presupposition in the question that ultimately shines a light in the darkness where you might not have thought before. So if anybody's got any questions or anything they ever just want a second opinion on, or they want to be asked a question a different way, feel free to send me an email, brent@thefuturephase.com.au. I've got some amazing resources and content coming very, very soon at the website. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, although I'm not very good on Twitter. I just don't get it. But I love Facebook and Instagram. I love LinkedIn, Snapchat. My Snapchat game sucks. So play to your strengths and not your weaknesses, and heaps of cool stuff coming. So everybody, thank you. It's been great. Whoever's tuned in, whoever's watching at the moment, thanks so much. Thanks so much for all the warm wishes. I'm having the most amazing, relaxed, chilled out birthday. And it's just perfect, and I love it. And I was at lunch actually, and just led with this. And Michelle, she sent me, I got an email, and it said, what did it say? It said, what do you get the person who has got it all? And it was a Track Surfing Mag subscription, and it said, happy birthday to the person who's got it all. I love you. So that's all I need, that's all I want, and that's it. So have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks for all your support, and look forward to seeing you next time. You?